Hello, it's Melinda from Alexis and Melinda's Art Space, and I've just come on today to share one of my new albums with you that I'll be working in. I decided I like the look of, and I'm trying to experiment with all sorts of cool stuff at the moment. I like the look of, I believe it's a Dina Wakley Media Journal. Now that's a book, it's about an A4 size book, and it's got in it normal like multimedia paper, mixed media paper, and then it's got canvas, and it's got Hessian, and it's got, I think it's only got canvas, Hessian and paper. And it looks really fun. And I've seen, I actually saw it on Mike Deacon's channel. And I thought, oh, that'd be cool. So I looked in Australia and it was like $50. And I go, on a spending spree, can't justify that. Can I make it? And look, looky. Ooh, sorry for the shadow. It's a bit hard. See if I can get this light up a bit further. Sorry for that. So it's nice and thick. It's got 3 signatures in it. It's made out of some cardboard off Alexis's bed. When we bought her IKEA bed, it came in 17 boxes. So you can imagine a lot of the boxes, a lot of cardboard come out. So the spine is actually, and when I recycled these cardboard, I actually cut this box down and kept a piece for Alexis and a piece for me, and this is what I've done with my book. So it's 3 inches or 7 centimetres, 7.5 centimetres in the spine, and it's roughly 30 centimetres by about 33 centimetres. So it's about 33 long by 30 centimetres wide. So this was one of the boxes some of her wooden pieces come in. If you've ever bought IKEA furniture, you know how well they're packed. It's cardboard on cardboard on cardboard, and now it took me a couple of weeks to get rid of all the cardboard in the recycling box. So I've used baker's twine for the signatures. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the cover yet. Obviously, if I cover the cover. Obviously, if I cover it with paper, this will be covered up, but that's all right. I might leave the spine hanging out. I love how these hang out. So you can see I've done 3 signatures. I actually use my crocodile. I've got a crocodile, and if you don't know what a crocodile is, can I locate it on my table? No, I can't locate it at the moment. Oh, it's a tool that gets lost. Doesn't get used very often, but it's got lost again. Basically, it's a big hole punch used in scrapbooking, and it's the larger version, and you can, usually with punches, it's a punch. Usually with punches, you can just punch like on the edge, but this one you can go right into the middle because it's got a 12-inch arm on it, and I have no idea what I've done with it. I'm in the middle of cleaning up, and things get lost quite often around here. But that's okay. So I actually use that to punch the holes in the cardboard and punch the papers as well. So I rummaged through my stash of just stuff, and this is what I found to put in my book. So this is quite a large journal, and it's going to be fun to play with. I've not played in an art journal this big. The biggest art journal I've had is an A4 size fold-out book, which would have been 40 centimetres across by 27 centimetres. So this one is a whole lot bigger, but I thought it would be fun. So I'm seeing if I can get it all in. So I rummaged through the boxes and saw what I could fill it up with. So this first page is a calendar page. So this is from a big hang-on-the-wall calendar we used to have. So each page was a month, and you could list down the different people and then list what their activities were. This is some material that I got from a resource rescue place years ago. We used to go down when the kids were younger. And used to basically fill a bag of stuff for like $25 or something. So it's got, I don't know what it is, it's like Hessian based. It's got this pink stuff on the top, and then I think it might have been a curtain maybe. And then it's got this sort of backing on it. So I cut that up and put pieces in it. All the things aren't the same size, so they're all different sizes. You can see this is ending here and there's something going over the edge. So I didn't necessarily make them all the same size. I thought that would be fun to use as well. Again, I haven't worked in a journal like that where you see the pieces underneath, so I don't know how this is going to go. I'll certainly film my processes of working in it and see how we go. In this one, I thought it might be fun to try some shaped pages as well. So I don't know what I'm going to do. So this was gorgeous, and I don't know whether I'm going to keep the pink or gesso it. So next was just some cartridge sketch paper. out of one of my A3 sketchbooks. This is the inside of a roll of Christmas paper that I had sitting there. So instead of being a solid roll, it was just this piece of paper rolled up. Next is this is watercolour paper from Kmart, so it's not the best quality. You get about 12 or 20 sheets for $5 in the A3 size. It's quite thick, but you can't really, if you paint on it a lot with the watercolour and do a lot of strokes, it will peel the paper up. So it's quite a light paper, but we'll see how we go. We might have to seal that with gesso or clear gesso. And then this I thought would be fun. This is actually cross-stitch Aida cloth. It's the plasticky version. I picked it up at Spotlight for like $1 a roll ages ago. So as you can see, I was going through my really old stash of stuff. So it's like a plastic, like mesh. Make a great stencil too, so I've got the offcuts for a stencil. So I've got that in there. Some brown paper, some thick brown paper. This is from work, and my wood from work comes wrapped in it, so I put some of that in. Another piece of the watercolour paper from Kmart. Nutri-Grain box. So I decided to put some cardboard pages in here as well. I've been saving all my cardboard from my kitchen. It's amazing when you start to save boxes how they stack up. And I've been saving them for probably a few months, 6 months. And it's amazing how many of the same products you keep buying, which is interesting. If you do that as an experiment, you can flatten them down. They'll go quite well in a smaller box. But after 6 months of keeping cardboard, and I was looking at doing some classes too, so I was keeping the cardboard for that. And it's amazing how many of the same food items you repeatedly buy. And we had like huge amounts of Nutri-Grain box because that's Alexis' only about cereal she'll eat. So I put that in. This again is another fabric that I picked up at that resource rescue. So it's got a nice texture on the top, and then it's got almost like this could be a curtain, a plastic on the back. What have we got? Another calendar page. It's got writing on it, so I'll just skip past that. They were used calendar pages. So with the back of the signature there, back of the Nutri-Grain box. I know it's got a bend in here, but I will strengthen that with some tape before I have a go. Back of the recycled, back of the watercolour paper. This has got a bit of tape on it. Not sure why that tape's there, but it was part of the roll. Probably with taping the thing shut. But it's nice, heavy brown paper. That Aida cloth or the cross-stitch plastic. Don't know what it's really called. I know Aida is the material one, but this is more plastic. So I don't know what that's called. Some more of the watercolour paper, the back of the brown paper, back of the sketch paper, back of that pink. Oops, sorry. This is the calendar. So if I flip to the other side, this was a huge wall calendar. So 2013, 2013. So this is the front and the back pages, but this is what it looks like. It has these cute little houses here. So I may leave these when I paint. I don't know. So going in, this is what I wanted to show you. So this is grey on the back. So again, some of the pages have colour on them already, some of them don't. This is watercolour paper again from Kmart. Hessian. This is also what I picked up from this resource rescue place. If you're in Melbourne, the other side of what I call the other side of Melbourne. So I believe it's in Bayswater. If you want the street address, if you're in Australia or Melbourne, let me know. But it's basically a place. Resource Rescue is a place where manufacturers donate their stuff. Like they might have cutouts of, so they might manufacture a sheet of material and they cut circles out of it for some particular reason, and they don't use the circles in their end product. They use the hole missing. They donate all that sort of stuff. People donate, like Hessian, there's lots of material, there's lots of, if say for example a furniture shop that has upholstery samples, and when their new range comes in, like 2015 they had upholstery samples, 2016 samples coming in, they will donate it to this resource rescue, and you pay $25 for a garbage bag and you fill it up with whatever crap you want. It has a lot of bottles, empty bottles, and all sorts of stuff. Fun place to go to. I'm sure they'd have one near your town if you googled resource rescue or stuff. Reverse garbage, sometimes they're called as well. So this was Hessian from there, so it was a huge amount, and I love the circles on it, and I may incorporate the circles, I may just cover it up, so I did a bad job of cutting that, but hey, who cares? Another bit of that plastic Aida cloth, normal paper. This is some more brown paper, another Nutri-Grain box. So I made 3 signatures, piece of that watercolour paper, and I've sewn the signatures in just with a simple stitch. So this is what I was up to the other weekend when I should have been doing my study. So the other side of that. So this would be interesting to what I work in it with, but I'll certainly film it. That's the other side of the watercolour paper. This is, and my signature, this back signature is not straight. I'm not going to take it out and redo it because that's just going to be a pain. It was a pain to get in there. But I didn't actually punch on the fold lines. I decided to be cheeky with the first one and punch every layer at once. It fitted under my hole punch. We went smack through it because it wasn't that bulky. And by the time it got through it didn't do it on the edge. But it still works. So that's probably a hint I've got. If you're going to make one of these books, punch all your layers separately, or only a couple at a time. It's more of the fabric, the Hessian fabric. I do have a stiffener that I can paint this to make it stiff, or I may leave it loopy and just put things, loopy, oh god, I'm loopy today. May leave it floppy so it flops when you turn the page. I'm not sure. Some more cartridge, just drawing paper. Another piece of this, I only had 2 scraps of this, so that's in there. Another calendar page, more watercolour paper, this piece of the inside of the paper roll, another Nutrigrain box, some more watercolour paper, some more, I know this is all creased, but I did sort of flatten them as best I could. So another piece of this fabric, so each signature's sort of got the same, that's got black paint on it. All the signatures are the same, except some of the materials only had 2 pieces, so I sort of just put the signatures in together, and sort of had a big sheet and then a little sheet. So this littler sheet's between these 2 big sheets, so it's going to be interesting to work in it, because when you do, you can't see, can't get it all in frame. Okay, which I'll have to work on if I'm going to film it, which I may be able to put my camera up higher. We'll have to see. So it's going to be interesting when I work in it. When I have this page done, this page flips over it, and you'll see this bit here. Whether I'll incorporate that with it, I don't know yet. It was fun book to make, and I haven't worked in it yet, so we'll see what happens. If you've worked in a book like this and have that issue, don't worry about it? Do you worry about it? Do you shape this and have this sort of incorporating the 3 pages, and I don't know. Let me know. Some more of this material, this fabulous material, I believe it's curtain. The inside of this calendar page, it's quite thick. Again, I might leave these people here and work around the people, I'm not sure. The back side of this fabric, so we're going to the back side of the signature. I obviously use this for wipe off paint or something. I often do that. My chipboard on my board for work comes in these all wrapped in brown paper in sections, in about 1 foot tall pieces. So every foot there's wrapped in brown paper in a package. So it's beautiful, and it's a thick brown paper. It's thicker than you normally get. So this is another sheet of the watercolour paper from Kmart. Another backside of the Nutrigrain box. Anyone else get those free books? Alexis loves her books, so every time they had it last year and they had it this year, you buy 2 boxes of cereal and you get a free book. So we end up with a bunch of cereal when it was on special. Still eating through it. The other half of the roll, the inside of the paper, more of that watercolour paper. Sorry, I'll cover that up. Not that's got that private stuff on it, but so again, these ones, flip it back without you seeing. Got these little images here. I may incorporate those or go over them. And then some material. So I tried not to put 2 material pages together when I was doing through my signatures. So this is the back side of the pink. That's actually, if I wanted to, I could probably peel the pink off and just have the Hessian, but it's sticky. I was going to do that, and then it's sticky. So I don't know. If I'm going to peel it off, I may cut a section and peel it off and then have to gesso it or clear gesso it or something. The drawing paper, and this signature's a bit wonky. The Hessian and the back of the paper, back of the calendar. So I left a lot of room. I've learned with books, you have to leave a lot of room for expansion. So as you can see, even though the signatures look tight, because they're all big and floppy, if I grab them, they are, see, that is the signatures with me holding them together, and that is how much room in the book. So I've got probably about double the room for it to expand, because I know if I'm going to add collage pieces and laces and trims, I had to leave enough room for these to expand, because that's the problem I've had in the past. So if you're making a book like this, probably put your things, put your pile together, like your pile of papers here, and squeeze them together, and this is how tall your book's going to be. You want your spine to be about 3 times as big as this, at least double, probably 3 times. And if I measured that, measured to me to be about 1 inch, and then, well, if you go into there, go into there, because that's a bit false because they all stop. So this measured about 1 inch. So I made sure the spine was about 3 inches, because you want that expansion room. Because if you're going to stick papers and lace and trims and things on either side of these papers, that's going to expand it by 2 times. And that's the problem I've had in other books. By the time you collage both sides, you're adding so much bulk to the book. Your book ends up looking like, can I do it? Your spine is fine here, and then your book looks like this at the end of the day out here, which is not real good for the spine because it eventually makes it break. So that's my only tip, is whatever and that's if you're making a mini book or if you're making a big book like this, whatever the thickness of your papers, make your spine at least double to 3 times the size. So this was like 1 inch, this was 1 inch here, sorry about my hands, so this is a 3-inch spine. And when you space your signatures out, this signature's not right on the edge. So this one's got expansion room here and here. This one can expand like to here, and this one's got expansion room here and here. So they've got room to expand. And I did the signatures all from one end because I had small pieces that I had to catch. And I didn't do it all the way down to, I was going to do it all the way down to here, but then I would have gone off the paper, which would have been silly. So, and this was just sewn with a darning needle and just basically just gone around and around and around. Very simple stitching. So that is what I've been up to. This is my new journal to play with, because I've been eyeing off, as I said, the Dina Wakley Media Journal, I think it's been called. But $50, I couldn't really justify that, and I had all these materials here. This basically cost me nothing because all the materials were here. The box, again, I said was from Alexis's bed. There's a piece of the Hessian coming out. Excuse me. And all these are recycled materials. So I encourage you, if you want to experiment with something, look around your house and see what you can use. Yes, I did purchase like the paper and stuff in the past, but all of this was basically free. So you could call it a junk journal, you could call it a media journal. And if you want me to do process videos of how I work in this, let me know. I'll definitely do some of them, but some of them might be free play as well. And if you do have a Dina Wakley journal and you've done any pages on Hessian, let me know. I'd love to see some videos, because that journal, I believe, has only been released this year. I haven't seen any process videos on it. So I'm wondering what you do on that page. Do you just treat it like a piece of paper? A floppy piece of paper. Do I stiffen it? I could sew into it and stuff. I don't know. It's going to be some fun. So thank you very much for watching me ramble. And that is my new Chunky Monkey book. And if I do anything to the cover, I will film that as well. It's just hard to get it all in shot. I will have to play with my camera angles for that. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you make a gorgeous, doesn't have to be as big as this, I decided to go large because I could, and I just go large or go home sometimes. No, I just like to do it large. It's different working large to different working small, so thank you for watching. Let me know if you make a book like this. Bye for now.